You are now tuned in to Shotgun Sports USA, powered by Winchester. Recorded in the U.S. and streaming all over the world. Your host, Justin Barker, talks to shotgun shooters from all disciplines, championship-winning coaches, gun clubs, world-class target setters, vendors, and industry-leading companies that fuel the sport. If you're into clay target sports, you're at the right place for insider information from some of the best in the world every single week. Subscribe to our podcast, leave us a review, and connect with us on social media. You can also catch our episodes on shotgunsportsusa.com.
I recorded this episode a few weeks back with Zach Keenbaum and Zach Gorettas from Forest City Gun Club in Savannah, Georgia. We get into the 2021 Georgia State Championship that is starting this week. Forest City Gun Club would like to recognize their sponsors for the 2021 Georgia State Championship. Sunbelt Rentals, Beretta, Cole Gunsmithing, Gator Creek Sporting Clays, Agromed, Briley, Promatic, Backwoods Quail Club, Rivers and Glen, White Flyer, and Score Chaser. We're down here at Forest City Gun Club with Zach Gorettas, Zach Keenbaum, and we're going to go over the Georgia State that's going to be here the week after the U.S. Open.
June 16th through the 20th.
June 16th through the 20th, and the weather's probably going to be great. It's going to be real cool here.
Probably be about 72 degrees, zero humidity, no.
Yeah, 72 plus 29.
So, big place. A lot of the people that shoot, especially from Georgia, have been here. But for those of you who have not, you need to come see the place. It's big. Zach, I was shooting your 5-stand today, this new covered 5-stand. How long has it been here?
Started building it in September of last year, and it was completed right before the end of the year, so December-ish.
It's unbelievably nice. Plenty of room. Is that just for practice here?
Yeah, that's just, it's a covered 5-stand house. It's a little bit bigger than my own house,
It's about 1,200 square feet of 5-stand.
Covered with fans everywhere, so that Georgia heat, when you get out here, those fans will be on.
That's
cool.
Right.
So talk about the shoot coming up.
It's shaping up to be a really big one. We're 3.5 weeks away. We got 561 shooters signed up for it right now, with just over 500 in the main event, and hopefully we can add to that. We've got close to 1,000 registered targets available, starting the early weeks of FETASC, sub-gauge FETASC, and then sub-gauge sporting and 5-stand open up on Thursday. We have the Hunterbird prelim, which is the Chris Cantrell Memorial prelim, and the super sporting opening up on Friday, and then the main events on Saturday and Sunday.
2-day main. And your courses, I know I was down here a few weeks ago or a month ago, and I noticed they widened a lot of the roads. It's like you have a ton of room to ride through there with cars now.
Yeah, we're constantly maintaining it. We can, we got a good board, and they see when we need to make improvements, and then we got a great maintenance crew led by Chip Deacle. He does a great job, stays on top of all ground maintenance and machine maintenance. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah. Zach, you moved here a year ago?
We moved here in January of 2020.
And this is now your home club.
This is our home club.
You're here every day.
Pretty much every day when we're home.
Now tell people that haven't been here what they can expect here.
I know Forest City's really one of the premier clubs in the country, but definitely the Southeast. This Georgia State it'll be as good as a regional. Right. Anyone that was here a few years ago when that hurricane was bearing in here and canceled out of their trip, here's your chance to come back to Savannah and Forest City and see what it's all about. But I think I was telling you earlier out on the course, when you take the whole picture, you take the infrastructure, the clubhouse, the bar, the pavilion, all the shooting courses and trap and skeet, and there's really nowhere else in the Southeast that you can throw some of these tournaments. It's a very active club for youth shooting, all this SCTP and GISA, which is the Georgia High School League. We have shoots. How big are some of the youth shoots here? 600-700 shooters.
We're hosting one. Well, we got one this weekend. It's the 4-H state championship, just under 200, but we have 526 coming next week for the Georgia SCTP state championship.
Right. And I think, as active as, Georgia and South Carolina are, especially these younger, if you look at the NSCA championship tour, we've had 3 regionals so far in 2021. And the sub-junior, 16 and under champion at all 3 has come out of Georgia and this part of Georgia, and it's 3 different kids.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're I don't care where you are in the country, if you want to compete against some of the best talent, period, under 18, that's the shoot, honestly. Honestly.
Yeah.
I bet that Georgia State sub-junior or junior title is as hard to win as the U.S. Open. It'll be that good a competition.
Yeah. The juniors here are extremely good.
Oh, yeah.
The team here. That's one thing that I see a lot of, especially on social media, is the 4-city juniors. And they're always doing well. So, come on down and win that title.
Yeah.
So it's vendors that you see everywhere will be here.
Yeah, your standard vendors will be here.
Yeah.
And they'll be on their A game. Hopefully they bring a lot of stuff. We will have. I know this is like a big question in the industry right now as far as shells, but we will have some shells available for those that actually need it. It's more important. It's more important to me to take care of the ones that don't have the opportunity to get it versus the ones that are just trying to keep the stock in the garage. So
yeah,
there will be shells for those that don't come to Savannah with shells. We had a shoot 3.5 weeks ago, and we had a family come in and they said they needed shells and sold it to them because we thought they needed it. And 2 days goes by and it's time for me to hop in the fire truck to water the roads, and it sits about 10 foot off of the ground or 8 foot off the ground, and I could look in the back of their truck and there's 30 cases of shells in the back of their truck. So they didn't really need the ammo.
Yeah. So Zach's going to be the ammo police.
I'm going to be the ammo police.
That's just been a topic that's brought up every time we talk to somebody as ammo, and it'll eventually come back around. But just bear with the companies. It's not like they're not trying to make it and not trying to ship it.
No, they're trying. They're doing a great job, in my opinion. I think they all are doing a great job, and you can kind of see it freeing up, or I can see it freeing up a little bit more now than I would say. The real struggle was February and March. February and March here was we didn't know if we were going to make it through it. It through it as in run out. You run out, you can't sell targets.
Who are the target setters, Zach?
I've got Joe Skoll coming in. I've got Rick Hemingway, Eric Dorsey, John Kent, Mike Bashaw, and I'm even going to let Chip Deacle set some targets and myself.
Oh, Chip.
Yeah.
Why do you always smile when you say Chip's name?
Some people some people will tell you they can't live without their wife. I can't live without Chip.
So if he quit, it'd be over.
Oh man, it'd be terrible.
We pulled up this morning and Chip had a tractor right here trying to move a trap, and he was doing all he could to get that trap moved.
Yeah, the trap weighed twice as much as him.
All right, where we go from there? What else? What's the big topics?
Numbers. We want numbers. We want to set the Georgia State record for. What is the Georgia State record? Was it last year?
Honestly, we just need to encourage everybody to get out. COVID, by now, if you want a vaccine, you've got a vaccine. You've gotten it. Savannah's open. Georgia's open. Probably the most looser laws in the whole country is Georgia, and has been for a while.
Yeah.
Last year's Georgia State, with being on the GSCA board, was a very hot topic. In April and May, whether we were going to push it back or postpone it or what, and it turned out to be a major success. So, get out, the hotels are relatively inexpensive at that time here in Savannah, which is shocking because most of the time they're pretty expensive. We've got some really good rates, and it's going to be a great shoot. We're going to have plenty of food, plenty of snacks, and if you're into drinking, we got plenty of that too.
They got a full bar here with a couch, a few couches, and a TV. So if you get a little crazy, you get a little crazy in that bar. They got a little bed in there for you.
Well, I mean, some of these trips to some of these shoots are not necessarily where you want to. They sound very inviting to the family or the wife. So this is Savannah, Georgia. It's not too hard to talk the family into coming along and making an entire vacation out of it.
That's right.
This is a great spot.
Absolutely. Tybee, I grew up in southern Illinois, and a lot of people, when you say, well, I live in Savannah, Georgia, and they're like, well, how far is the ocean from you? I mean, it's 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
That's less. Technically, it's
technically
less,
the way where the land sits, we're probably 8 miles from the ocean where we're sitting right now. So, I mean, there is a lot to do, and like I said, Savannah is open, and there's a lot for little kids to do. There's a lot for bigger kids to do. And then we have close to 100 acres and fishing ponds, too.
I was just about – we were riding past them ponds. Did you see all those bass in the pond?
See Desi about jumping out?
I'm telling you.
Were they breaking the top?
Yeah.
The shad bite had just turned on, and the shad bite's amazing in those ponds.
So they can bring their poles free to fish.
Free to fish, catch and release.
There's some big ones. I saw some big ones.
Take a picture and put them back so somebody else can catch it.
Yeah, that's right. It's a nice place. I really enjoy coming down here. It's always friendly.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we try. That's kind of our motto, is to create a friendly atmosphere here and everybody feel welcome. And, hopefully us as target setters will do a better job and make everybody be happy when they get off the course. But I'm sure some people will be either mad at me or one of the other target setters, or maybe they'll be mad at themselves, hopefully more at themselves than us. But I think it'll be a fantastic time, and hopefully the weather will hold off. The last time we held the Georgia State, we had a terrible lightning storm in the afternoon that just, I mean, it got here in a hurry, and we actually postponed like the sub gauge and stuff because we got like 2 or 3 inches of rain in less than an hour.
Wow.
We had to pump out a spot where we had a rabbit running the whole week, dry as a bone, and it filled up with like 8 inches of water. We had to pump it out.
You're a target setter. You set targets, and you don't just set targets here. You set them at several clubs.
Yeah,
for big shoots
on occasions.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you look for when you're setting targets?
I don't like to. I would say honestly, as bringing up the target setting thing, I felt like the last targets that I set was the Easy Go prelim for the Seminole Cup down at Woodbine,
right,
at Broadfield, and I tend to lean towards the funner side and try and not beat up on people, but sometimes it's just like getting a big plate thinking you're going to eat the whole plate and you leave leftovers. Obviously I made some of them a little bit too hard, but as a target setter, as me, I've learned from Rick Hemingway and some of the other better target setters like Joe Skoll and some kids that I went to school with, and you look and just try and let everybody have fun, and you don't have to beat them with distance and you don't have to beat them with speed. You can give them a fair shot at everything. They're going to miss regardless, unless you're Zach or Derek or Gavin or one of those guys, and
right,
they can tear some of those courses up. But I think you got to keep it fair for everybody.
Yeah, I was talking about that today. It's kind of off topic, but I brought up to Zach easy targets. If we set a whole course of easy targets, how many of the good shooters would absolutely have a time with it versus somebody that shoots the weekend?
Well, not only do I set targets, but I also like to pull the trigger too. And I find myself as a shooter on easier stuff, I make more mental or physical mistakes because I'm not as intuitive to the game, because it's either, I got this, or I've just lost focus,
Yeah.
I shot really well on the Breda course at the Southeast Regional, and it had my attention the whole time. I didn't lose attention on it at all. But for the rest of the weekend, it looks like I shot like Ray Charles. But
Yeah, those, and we'll talk about those courses for a second. That was you can ask a bunch of people, and they'll all say they did better on different courses.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's funny that there was not a majority that I have heard that did better on one course. Like the Beretta course you did well on, and I did well on the Pure Gold course.
Right, and I sucked it up on the Pure Gold.
Yeah, and Zach did well on all of them.
Yeah.
He's over here patting himself on the back.
No.
So it's, we were talking about that earlier about if you took just a course with easy targets, how many or how competitive would it be for somebody that just shoots the weekend and some of these really, really good shooters? How competitive it really would be.
It's humbling to the weekenders for sure. Yeah, the other part of it too, with the meadows, and we got a little bit of that with our South course, or what we call the Woods course. Lighting goes into effect on a lot of that stuff, and even I'm guilty of it, even though I know better. And I've talked to Zach about it several times, and I think Zach talked about it in a previous podcast. But you go into those conditions and it's still bright out, but then you really need to make a lens change for some people. Like my background low light or a strobe light, I know that I need to change my lenses, but for some reason on that course I just did not do it. I kept the same lens, and the reason why I was missing wasn't because I couldn't hit them. It was because I just didn't force myself to change my lenses.
Yeah.
Couldn't see them well.
Yeah.
It's one of the challenges of the Southeast in general. But I promise you could go out west where it's wide open, out in Arizona or Texas or somewhere, and those courses shoot differently in the morning than they do in the afternoon. Same thing here. The lighting's slightly different. What could be a tough target in the morning is easier in the afternoon, and vice versa. So it's an outdoor sport. You've got these squads. I think it's important that I like these multiple day tournaments because everyone kind of gets their taste of the morning, gets their taste of the afternoon, and hopefully in the end it comes out pretty even. It's just part of the challenge.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so your dinner on Saturday night, what you gonna have? You have all kind of crazy stuff up here.
Well, we're gonna try and keep it a little bit simple this time. Save the gator for a next big regional or something like that, or maybe one of our own shoots. We're talking about building that. But the menu has been set. We have some awesome cooks here that cook on a daily or on a weekly basis for us here at the club. I know you got to test out some of their food a few weeks ago.
Right.
Dee and Dan and Brad, they do a great job, and so we're going to have a low country boil for those that like to come to the coast and do that, and then we got this fantastic pork loin that is just phenomenal, and all the fixings with it.
You know what's funny is I always ask people about food on these podcasts.
I believe that.
I'm a firm believer that if you have a bad day of shooting, there better be a bunch of beer. And there better be some really good food.
Yeah.
And I'm serious with that. And that's kind of why we do what we do here is I learned that kind of in the 3-gun world where I came from in Kentucky. We were really, we had sporting clays and we had 5-stand, but we threw a lot of pistol and rifle stuff. So, they're only shooting so much and then they're there and we had a hotel there. So, when they're done shooting, if you want to keep them happy, you better have a bunch of alcohol, a bunch of great food, and even some music every once in a while. And they have a great time. And I've kind of brought that here, and it's I wish a lot of places would do it. I mean, you make some money on these shoots, but you got to keep them happy too. And if you can't keep them happy on the course, you got to keep them happy with their belly.
Yeah, that's right.
We just came from Anthony's, that Northeast Regional, and that's one thing M&M puts on in spades is the food.
Yeah.
The food. I mean, this they serve you dinner on Saturday night, but Friday night is finger food. They call it finger food, but there were people that was their dinner. Out of it. Oh yeah, because we know Anthony throws as technical a target as anybody, and people were getting beat up, no question, but they were smiling while they were doing it because they were having a good time at M&M and getting fed well.
Yeah.
And I think honestly, I went my first time to M&M was 3 years ago for a regional, and I kind of picked up a lot of stuff from what he had done on his social events and brought it back here because, you know, everyone always wants to kind of have a budget, but you got to keep people smiling. And, you know, so we are doing a Friday thing that's sponsored by Agromed, Trey Graham.
Yeah.
Doing some wings, some egg rolls, and some shrimp cocktail and stuff like that. Plenty of drinks to go along with it. And we hope everybody comes out and does that. And one of the reasons why we kind of do that is because we know that Savannah is kind of a destination for some folks that don't get on this side of the state per se, and maybe have their favorite restaurant in town to where they can come and they can do a little appetizer, and then they can make dinner plans later on in the evening with all their shooting buddies and go out and have a good time there too.
Well, I'm excited about it. It's going to be a hot one, but it'll be a good one.
It will be a good
Where
one.
do you go to sign up?
You go to scorechaser.com. I think as of today, we are now on the front page of it because all these shoots are starting to get over with. So we are on the front page. And just look for Savannah, Georgia, the 2021 Georgia State Championship.
Let's go sign up, make it a big one. I think everybody will enjoy themselves and get to see a cool looking place. So
Thanks, Justin.
thanks for coming on. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.